Pedro Acosta's blazing charge for a San Marino podium turns into a nightmare as his KTM chain snaps on. Lap 8, in a fiery outburst, El Tiburon flips off his bike and unleashes scathing criticism at KTM. What drove this young star to explode? And what's next for KTM in MotoGP 2025? Let's dive in and break it down. Stick around until the end. Pedro Acosta stormed into the San Marino MotoGP main race brimming with confidence. Starting from 7th on the grid, he showcased why he's one of the brightest young talents in MotoGP. With lightning speed, he overtook 3 riders ahead of him, climbing to 4th by lap 6. Locked in on chasing down Marquez for that coveted 3rd spot, Acosta was in his element until disaster struck. On lap 8, his KTM's chain suddenly snapped, forcing him to pull over and abruptly ending his race. The incident didn't just crush his podium dreams, it ignited a rare fiery outburst from the 21-year-old prodigy. Acosta's reaction as he pulled to the side became the talk of the paddock. In a moment of raw frustration, he flipped the middle finger at his bike, a gesture that exploded across social media, sparking heated debates among MotoGP fans. For Acosta, this wasn't just a mechanical failure, it was a gut punch for a team already struggling to keep pace in the cutthroat 2025 season. The Misano weekend was a rough one for KTM. The Austrian team had been grappling with challenges since free practice, with their RC16 bikes struggling to find a competitive rhythm. Amid the team's struggles, Acosta was their lone bright spot. His impressive 5th-place finish in the sprint race had raised hopes that KTM could still shine in the main event. But the chain failure for Acosta, coupled with similar issues for teammate Brad Binder, obliterated those expectations. Brad Binder, Acosta's teammate, wasn't spared from the technical woes either. The South African rider suffered 2 chain failures over the Misano weekend. One incident forced him to abandon his primary bike for the sprint race, and his backup bike then succumbed to engine trouble, leaving him unable to finish. The result? A weekend of disappointment for KTM at Misano. Post-race, Acosta didn't hold back. In a candid interview, the 2021 Moto3 and 2023 Moto2 world champion let his frustration rip. "I'm really disappointed this happened. It's so frustrating because we came from a tough weekend and it felt like I was the only KTM making progress. It's hard to see issues beyond our control ruin our race," Acosta said, his tone sharp and unfiltered. He didn't stop there, pointedly noting that failures like this shouldn't happen to a team of KTM's caliber. "This is a mechanical sport. Things like this shouldn't happen, but they do," he said. While trying to temper his emotions, Acosta made it clear the team should have been better prepared. "Let's try not to dwell on it. Time to move on to Japan and keep fighting," he added, showing the never-say-die mentality that earned him the nickname El Tiburon, the Shark. Chain failures are nothing new for KTM. In fact, they've plagued the team throughout the 2025 season, with Misano marking the peak of their technical woes. For Acosta, who's been KTM's cornerstone since joining the Premier class in 2024, this felt like a betrayal of his relentless effort. Known for his aggressive, consistent riding style, Acosta has proven himself a vital asset to KTM, but recurring technical issues risk eroding his trust in the team. Brad Binder, another key pillar for KTM, faced a similar fate. 2 chain failures in one weekend signaled deeper issues with the RC16's development. The backup bike Binder used in the sprint race was also plagued by engine problems, leading to another DNF. This begs the question, what's going wrong at KTM and how can they recover from this crisis? The Misano debacle didn't just hurt KTM's race results, it impacted their standings in the Constructors' Championship and Acosta's position in the Riders' Championship. Before San Marino, Acosta had been a consistent performer, racking up top 5 finishes and even podiums in earlier rounds. This failure cost him valuable points, potentially jeopardizing his chances of a top spot in the riders' standings. For KTM, the weekend's failures further weakened their position in the Constructors' Championship. With Ducati and Aprilia dominating and Yamaha showing significant progress, KTM is fighting to stay relevant at the sharp end of the grid. The 2025 season is a make-or-break year for KTM, especially with Acosta as their rising star. But if technical issues persist, they risk shaking the confidence of both their riders and their sponsors. KTM has yet to issue a detailed official statement on the incident, but the pressure is on for a thorough investigation. Red Bull KTM Factory Racing's team management is expected to conduct an in-depth review to pinpoint the root cause of the chain issues and prevent a repeat at the upcoming MotoGP Japan at Motegi. Despite his frustration, Acosta showed maturity by focusing on the next race. "Time to move on to Japan and keep fighting," he declared, reaffirming his champion's mindset. It's this resilience that makes Acosta one of MotoGP's most exciting prospects. With championship titles in Moto3 and Moto2 under his belt, he has the mental fortitude to carry KTM to new heights, if the team can deliver a reliable bike. KTM, meanwhile, faces mounting pressure from rivals who continue to raise the bar. Ducati remains the team to beat with their formidable rider lineup, while Aprilia and Yamaha are making significant strides. For KTM, fixing their technical issues isn't just about saving face, it's about keeping the trust of a talent like Acosta, who could be the key to their future success. The upcoming Japan round will be a critical test for KTM to prove they can overcome their technical gremlins. For Acosta, it's a chance to show that Misano was just a bump in the road. With his talent and determination, he's more than capable of battling at the front again, provided KTM can give him a bike that matches his ambition. The chain failure at the 2025 San Marino MotoGP wasn't just a technical glitch. It was a stark reminder of the challenges KTM faces in the fiercely competitive MotoGP landscape. Pedro Acosta, with his fiery criticism and bold gesture, proved he's not just a talented rider, but a fearless voice unafraid to call out his team. Despite the setback, he's already looking ahead, showing the champion spirit that defines him. For KTM, this is a wake-up call. The team must urgently address their recurring technical issues if they want to stay in the fight for 2025. With Acosta as their spearhead and Binder as a reliable wingman, KTM has the potential to bounce back, but only if they can solve this crisis. The stage is set for MotoGP Japan, where KTM and Acosta will aim to prove their mettle. One thing's for sure, El Tiburon won't go down without a fight. What's your take on today's news? Drop it in the comments. Let's get the conversation rolling.
Welcome to GP Talks. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates.